Hi everybody! As a lot of you know, I have a really different impression from a lot of reenactors out there as I portray a Confederate Vivandier. But there's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of questions about what a Vivandier actually is. I found this out when I recently went to Wilson's Creek and nobody had a clue what I was, why I was there, why I was dressed the way I was. And it kind of made me a little upset that nobody really knows about these really, really brave women. So I thought I would make this little video to try and clear it up and hopefully get a little more information out there than a lot of reenactors know. So Vivandiers were women that followed the troops. They were not military sanctioned. They were usually appointed to a company by the company commander or voted in by the men. She was usually a local woman as well. And she went out dressed as a woman. She wore a skirt with pants underneath, boots, a nice bodice, a fitted jacket, and usually a hat with a feather or plume coming out the back. These women marched along with the troops. They didn't stay in camp. There were even a few mounted Vivandiers, which is what I portray, and they had very special functions outside of the normal functions of a Vivandier. Now, the normal functions of a Vivandier were more along the lines of acting as a nurse, cook, laundress, so on and so forth. She took care of the men took care of her. That's just how it was. She normally carried water, spirits, medical supplies, etc. Now, the mounted Vivandiers were something a little special. They could also act as color bearers or guidons and carry the flags, or they could serve a more fly function. A lot of them were used as messengers to carry messages from one important person to the next because they would not be shot. It was very cowardly back in the 1800s for a man to shoot at a woman. It was considered the lowest of the low, and usually a man could be killed for this. So to shoot at a known woman running by on horseback was absolutely unheard of. So a lot of these women actually got really important messages through the lines that men wouldn't be able to. Now, the number of Vivandiers is something that a lot of people have an issue with. A lot of people think that they were almost non-existent, and then you have, on the other hand, a lot of people who think they were in every company. Both is wrong. It was more in the middle. While it was true that there were more Vivandiers in the Union side than on the Confederate side, it doesn't mean that Confederate Vivandiers didn't exist, nor does it mean that their numbers were almost non-existent. Because the Vivandier was not military sanctioned, her name was never written down on a roster. So unless her name was written down by, say, someone in her company, or she was written about in a paper or journal, her history really didn't exist. That's the reason a lot of the lists you'll see with the names of Vivandiers are incomplete. Many, many historians know that there were more out there than have been written down and talked about, but there's just very little evidence to prove that because of the fact that none of their names really exist. Now, since I portray a Vivandier here in the Western Theater, my clothing is a little different from that of a Northern Vivandier, or even that of an artillery or infantry Vivandier here in the South. Because I'm in the cavalry, I have to be a little bit more rugged, so to speak. I usually wear a nice riding jacket that I made myself, because women of the day riding, obviously. I wear a nice Garibaldi blouse, a waist that falls usually mid-calf, and underneath I either wear broadfalls if it's the winter or cotton trousers if it's the summer, just for the sake of staying cool. Either way, I'll tuck those into my riding boots and top it off with a nice hat with plume coming out the back. If you want to know more about these amazing women and all the things they did for us, I've compiled a huge list of my research on my new blog called IsabellaGrayReenactor.blogspot.com, and I'll put the info down in the down bar. So, again, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so glad that you guys are watching my videos and enjoying my videos. And please take a look if you want to know more. I'll be updating it often about what I'm doing, projects I'm up to, my newest research. So thank you so much again for coming by and watching this, and I'll see you later. Bye!